So as a state or as a nation, we invest billions of dollars in R&D in this country. And that money gets spread across academic institutions, medical institutions, nonprofit research organizations, large companies, small companies. And so small businesses need to be a part of that ecosystem, as I call the federal R&D enterprise. So Minnesota SBIR, so it stands for Small Business Innovation Research, and we are a nonprofit organization that provides education and coaching to companies, startup and existing companies. And so we're there to support them through that journey of getting started and all the way towards commercialization, which is when the product is in the marketplace.
I knew there was some technology we needed to develop and to prove, and I knew that the SBIR programs in the country are some of the best ways to do that. And the U.S. is pretty unique in having those kinds of funds for small businesses, and I had known from my prior experience that this was a good resource, and the MNSBIR offices were just fantastic to get me going. I think our first proposal won with the National Science Foundation, and that actually provided a kernel for over two and a half years, $1.5 million for us to develop the technology.
So the legislative support for MNSBIR is really critical to help companies like Darcy grow and bring impact to the state. We grew out of technology developed at the University of Minnesota, and we are rapidly becoming the established leader in groundwater enhanced geothermal nationwide. We're establishing Minnesota as the center of this industry that's quickly growing, and MNSBIR and the funding that they directed us to really helped us along our commercialization pathway.
This is what's so exciting, I think, sometimes with SBIRs, because you really do have to think about the long-term opportunities that exist with these different technologies. And we're on a very long, sometimes, pathway from the idea all the way to the product that's in the marketplace.
So we were awarded a National Science Foundation Small Business Innovation Research Grant of $275,000, and we just applied for the phase 2 of that grant, which is of $1.25 million. We've hired 2 more engineers, and now because of the phase 2 and the momentum of that, which is critically important, we got the National Science Foundation SBIR program, but that is a big feather in your cap. So with that, you can walk around and use it to actually fundraise a lot more money from angel investors, which is what we did. We got to $1.5 million in total. So it was a compounding effect that we were able to catalyze on and allow us to grow our team from really 2 to 5, and now we're looking at up to 10 at this coming year.
If you want to talk dollars and cents, I can tell you right now that in the absence of us getting about $2 million from the federal government, we're going to sell the company to a strategic buyer. We're getting regular inquiries on that. It would cost the state of Minnesota tens of millions of dollars in income tax revenues if we did not get the SBIR program. That's just one company. That's one company. It is really important that the state support these kinds of efforts to increase the success of companies like ours.
We have people come from Washington who want to come to Minnesota because they feel that the level of research and the research acumen in Minnesota is top of the line. In fact, they prefer it even than the coast. And you can see that from Medical Alley to some of the AI work and semiconductor work and so forth. So I think the SBIR program have created that culture within the Twin Cities, and then they have had the foresight to see how to partner with others. So you have things like SciTech, and you work with the universities and so forth, and then the community program for jobs, and we find ourselves where we actually can be leaders in this country as far as innovative research and development and commercialization. And then they add things like the angel tax credit, which bring in investment into those SBIR companies and so forth. And so it just keep growing.
MNSBIR has a large catalog of resources for entrepreneurs or innovators. Something that we don't know how to do is to translate this into products and how to become a company. So all of these resources available, if it's writing a grant, if it's building your network, if it's getting partners, MNSBIR is the best ally you can get.
I always say we send all this money to Washington. What do we have to do to get it back? We have to write really good research proposals that get funded. So this is where we're in the middle. We're the liaison between that company and understanding the federal arena and the federal processes and systems. And that's such a critical role because people do not live and breathe the federal government. Most of the time, all they're doing is making sure that they're paying their taxes and they're getting their tax returns into the IRS. This is much different. And as a nation, I just keep always saying that, we want to benefit from the talented people in our country to help create that economy that we all want and deserve for the future.